Welcome to the John and Rick Talk All About Insurance podcast, the show where two good old boys with over 80 years of combined experience pull back the curtain on what really works in the insurance world. Join John Smith, industry legend, marathon runner, and top producing agent for nearly 4 decades, and Rick Witcher, proud farmer, regional director, and lifelong relationship builder, as they share stories from the field, interview real agents, and show you how to build a business and a life you love. This ain't corporate. This is real talk from real agents, with a whole lot of laughs, straight up wisdom, and the occasional rabbit trail. Now, here they are, John and Rick.
Hey guys and gals, welcome back to John and Rick's Training Agents podcast. I'm John.
I'm Rick.
And today we're coming to you with another special guest. We just love our guests on here, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
We have some good guests. Been in the business for a long time with auto experience. Oh yeah. Give us an introduction for Mr. Wayne here.
Well, we have Wayne Sharon from Little Rock, Arkansas. Wayne, tell us your history in the business and a little bit about you.
Okay. As I said earlier, I am originally from Nashville, and I signed my first contract in the insurance business with Franklin Life in 1967. I was a retail buyer at a large department store there in Nashville, and the personnel director just happened to be married to an insurance guy. And back then you could recruit a lot of part-time agents, so that's what I did first. That's what got me in the business. And I worked there about 3 years part-time, selling insurance at night, 2 appointments every night, and then Saturday. And that's where I learned the 100-man story, the President's Plan. And so that's what got me started. And about 1970, a little over, 1970, I went full-time. And I said when I started part-time that if I made $700 a month as a buyer at the large department store in Nashville. And I said I told myself when I get to making $700 a month in the insurance business, I'm going to quit and go full-time. So in 1970, 3 years later, I was making $700 a month and selling nights every night and on Saturday. And so from 1970 to now, that's where I've been. I started selling cancer insurance and accident plans right during that time when I was with Franklin Life. I sell that in the daytime, and I'd sell Franklin Life at night.
Mm-hmm.
And we were selling a little accident plan, I think with, I'm not sure what the name of the company was, but we got $10 for every sale we made. No renewals or anything. So when we'd see an employer and he had 20 employees in the parking lot, we'd say that's $200. If we could sell them all, that's $200.
Well, tell us about your position now.
My position now is I'm a regional director here in Little Rock, in Arkansas.
And how do you try? I know you do agent training too. What special things do you utilize as far as training?
Well, of course, I don't train much anymore, but
Well, you spent a long time doing it, though, Wayne.
Huh?
You spent a long time doing it, though. You know your way around it, so.
Well, I guess in my notes here that I made this morning, I got started. I'm gonna answer your question, but let me go on a minute. I started in worksite marketing back when I recruited John. John and I started back years ago. We didn't really know. We got into the association business back then, and of course, John continues to do that now. I've always liked to train. I'm gonna kind of skip around a little bit. I've always liked to train. When I moved here, to start this region, I did like everybody else did. I'd just go out and recruit agents. But back to training, let me go to training and answer your question, and I'm gonna back up a little bit. I back even when I was in the home office in Jackson, Mississippi, I went in the home office to develop their training program with a company. You probably know the company, Consolidated American Life. They were in Jackson.
I do.
Well, they hired me to go in, and I went full time there as vice president. But we developed their training program then, and I guess that's when I started. I really enjoyed training. Fast forward a little bit, when I got here, Ray asked me to put together a training program because at that time, regional directors we didn't have anything to focus on. So we didn't have a book to go by or guideline to go by. So that's when we started TAP class several years ago. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the TAP class. We went through the ABCs just like we do now. But when I moved here to Arkansas, I started training agents. I spent 17 years, and I retired from that last year, training agents in the insurance business to get their CE credits and get their 40 hours of certification. But again, to answer your question, it's when you train an agent, as you know, and you got they're successful, it makes you think, you do something with their career. So I'll probably not answer your question that way, but
No, I think you answered it perfectly, Wayne. And thank you for saying something I was going to say. I remember back in 1980 when I drove to Nashville one cold morning and had a car that would barely get me there. I wasn't sure if I was going to get back to Cookville where I was living, and came into this meeting with all these strange people, and they're sitting listening to you talk about how we're going to go down to Alabama. We're going to work these nursing homes, and how we're going to have Bill Bean there, and he's going to play the guitar, and we're going to sing with the residents, and we're going to write cancer policies and life insurance and accident. And then went with you on one of those trips, and I think we stayed at a hotel that was by the racetrack, and if you remember, there were greyhound dog hairs all over everything, and we just said no way we can do that. So we got a different hotel. One, we had to share a bathroom and sign up for a time slot to use the bathroom. That was back in the days when we were roughing it. Remember that?
oh yeah, one day I don't think you were with me, but Bill and I checked into a motel, and we were going to watch a World Series, part of the World Series, and Bill pulled the blanket back on his bed, and there was a little mouse there that ran out. But we used to call you. We would work all day, and making calls, and then we would all have something to eat, and then John would slip out. We had a nickname back then. It was Disco John. He would come in about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning after he'd been out, but he made it. He worked all day the next day. So it was back then, and of course things have changed. The world has changed. Everything has changed. But we had a great time back then, working the nursing homes and hospitals in Alabama and Tennessee. So
Well, the way I'll always remember you, Wayne, the way you trained how to walk into a group, you took what we all nicknamed the Columbo Approach, okay?
Yeah.
Where you would find all the facts of everything before you walked in. Matter of fact, I think we've even got a shot here of you, don't we? You see that picture there, Wayne?
no.
Can you? Okay. We did kind of an AI photo of you as Columbo here with your raincoat on and your hat and everything. You'll get to see this a little bit later, but it's very honoring and flattering, I hope, because we know that you were the guy who taught many of us how to do what we're doing and being successful at now. And I wouldn't mind and I hope our listeners would love to hear it. If you'll take us through the story about when you pull up in a parking lot, how you'd see somebody emptying the trash or trimming the trees or mowing the yard, or and how you just walk up to them and how you'd approach them. You give us that little details, would you?
Yeah, I don't know how many are on this podcast, but just before I do that, Columbo was played by Peter Falk, and he there was a murder. It was on TV, and I think it was a weekly series. And Peter Falk. Columbo was a detective, and there was a murder. And Peter Falk, or Columbo, would have his trench coat on, and his hair was all messed up. And he got in this old car, and as he was driving to the murder scene, you'd always think, well, how was this guy ever going to solve anything? He was so dumb acting, and how he was dressed and so on. And he solved the murder, and then he drove off, and you couldn't wait to see the next week's series.
Yeah.
And so if you think about that, when I always, when I went into a group, I never took anything in with me. I didn't really want to look like a salesman, so I left my briefcase, I left my pens, I left everything back in the car. And yeah, I do, and you all do this now, but I do notice you have to notice everything that's going on before you get in the place. And yeah, you're right, John. We always notice the cars in the driveway and the trucks and what color the trucks were. And I remember one time there was a guy out mowing the lawn of the yard of this business, and I stopped and asked him, talked to him. I said, we just talked about him mowing the yard. He was sweating. I said, boy, it's hot out here. Yeah, yeah. I said, do you know who the boss man is? And we always called him the boss man. You know who the boss man is in here? And he kind of looked at me and he said, it's me. And I don't know where we were, but just from warming him up and just talking to him at that time, we just thought he was a laborer.
Yeah.
And he was the employee or the employer. So you do have to go in and the Columbo approach was, well, I didn't take anything in with me. And I got to know people. I got to know what was going on in the company before I even got in the door. And anyway, you all know this. It's hard to get past this. The what do we call them now? The gatekeeper.
Right.
It's hard to get past the gatekeeper, but you got to get on her side right away. And sometimes you have to do something that's different. And I've even sat down when they've even asked me not. I mean, they haven't asked me to sit down. I've even just sat down. And that'll backfire you sometime because, they could think mentally that, it's a rude person, you don't want to deal with him. But it always worked for me. Just, you mind if I take a seat a minute? And the same thing we always do. You have to ask questions. I see the pictures and on the credentials in the back. How many grandchildren you have? And that's the best thing to do, to talk about their grandchildren. So, we were pretty successful doing that, but I've always felt comfortable being the Columbo. I've never felt comfortable being the guy that has the pen in his pocket and the appointment book and anything else he needed. I've just never been comfortable doing that. So, but it
Well, and you've had many, many years of success at this, and it's very much a tribute to the way you handle things and the way you carry yourself. You're very compassionate when you go in. I'll tell you that. People respect you and admire you. You're not just there for a quick buck, and people can tell that when you come in to talk to them, Wayne. That means a lot to people.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, John. Appreciate that.
And then, why don't, besides in the insurance business, you've started doing little things later in life as well. Tell us about your wife and your kids, and you're writing a book and all this kind of stuff. Tell us about that, Wayne.
Well, a few years ago, I wanted to start writing a book. My two boys here in Arkansas, they said, "Dad, you ought to write a book." And when I retired from teaching insurance about 2 years ago, maybe longer than that, I had started the book, and it's gone very well. It's about my life. I made a lot of mistakes in the insurance business, as we've all have done.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the book came out a year ago. This past month, and it's had a lot of success. If you didn't know me, when it first came out, I had a honeymoon with the book. Everybody was buying it. Everybody that knew me, and everybody was waiting on it and all that. And I still get people buying it. I didn't really buy it. I didn't really write the book for to make money. I wrote the book to leave a legacy for my family, and all my family they've read it. So, but it's just about where I was back in the 50s and the 60s, growing up in reform schools and jail and all that, and where I am now. So Sarah and I, back to Sarah, we've been married 48 years, and I think that's big. That's one of the reasons I am what I am today, because I've had her to be my lifelong partner, and we have 2 boys, and they're both in the insurance business. So that's yeah. I wrote my book. I still do some mentoring. I still do some a prison ministry. Still do sell some insurance. I do, but don't do much recruiting. I know Ray doesn't appreciate that, but I just don't do much. You know, I'm 82 years old now, and it's time to slow down.
I hope I look as good as you when I'm 82.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, you're kind. You're kind. So
Well, I told you I didn't know how you were a while back when you gave us the book. We were at a meeting and you told me how old you were, and I said, I can't believe that, Wayne. You know,
well,
and
I take care of myself. I work out every day and try to do the right thing. So
right.
so far so good. You know, it's every day gets a little shorter. Every month gets a little shorter. But it's been a good life. Good life. Life Alabama's been good to me. They've been good to all of us.
Yes, they have.
All my lot. So
Well, Wayne, we'll close this up
That's-
here. But give us some words of wisdom for a new agent getting in the business. What would you tell them to anticipate, to look for, and try to achieve, things of that nature?
one thing when I was teaching classes, I always had people come up and ask me at breaks or whatever, hey, what do I need to do to be successful? And I'd look at them and I'd say, you got to get out and see the people.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't the answer they wanted. They wanted some magical answer, but that's not. I mean, that you have to get out and see the people. I was talking to someone the other day about that, and the world has changed, but you still gotta get out and see people.
Absolutely.
And that's one thing. And you need to set goals. We always talk, get up in the morning. If you don't have an office, go somewhere and have coffee. That's your office. Get started in the day. Don't wait till 10 o'clock in the afternoon, in the morning, and then wait for lunch and then go home about 3 o'clock. You're wasting a day. And it's just all about numbers. That's never going to change. It's never going to change whether you're doing networking or whether you're just doing cold calling or whatever. It's just never going to change. So, and the other thing I was thinking about this morning, and I think we've all been through this, just they got to watch their finances. You know, when you get in the insurance business, sometimes you want to make $100,000 a year in the first year or two, and you're not going to make $100,000 a year, but sometimes you live like you're making the $100,000. And I've done that. I've made those mistakes, and you have to learn from your mistakes, and I have, but it's been, I'd be a lot better off financially now had I listened, financially I'd have taken care of myself more. I mean, I'm still fine, but that's so hard to do sometimes, especially when you're on, advanced commissions or whatever. But just hang on. I tell people you're not going to make your dream income in the first 2 years. You're just not. but somewhere it depends on how hard you work. You can make a living in the next couple of years, good living, but where you're going to see the real results is when been at it 3 or 4 years, depending on how hard you work. So
Yeah.
that's my.
What we're trying to tell everybody. Yeah.
Yep. John and I just did a podcast, just he and I prior to this, and we were talking about that exact thing and saying the exact things you've just said. We were talking about new agents wanting to enter the business. It takes time to build any kind of business, no matter what it is. And the insurance business is no different, is it, Wayne?
It's not. It's not any different at all. Same thing. So
Well, Wayne, give us a suey pig, and we'll let you hang out in Arkansas, and hopefully you'll stay warm this week.
well, you're doing a good job. You are, and we lost our coach, but we've got a new coach who was announced yesterday.
Yeah.
And we won 2 games last year. That's nothing to brag about, but everything's fine. I'm living my dream. Everything's good. So
Awesome.
Good.
Well, tell Sarah to say hello to the boys, and we will talk at you later, okay?
okay, thank you guys.